Is the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC Halftime Report, brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Domino's, delivering a million smiles a day.
Along with the usual suspects, Chris Collinsworth and Sam Weish, I'm Greg Gumbel. Welcome to our studio in New York, everyone. Let's run down scores and highlights for you of first half action so far today, beginning with the game that you're watching in Buffalo, where the Broncos are leading it by a score of 10-0, and some of the worst hats you will see all season long on the fans in Orchard Park. Scoreless game in the first, milestone for Bruce Smith. He sacks John Elway to become the first player in NFL history with double-digit sacks in 11 seasons. Still scoreless in the second. Bills quarterback Todd Collins puts this one up for grabs. Tyrone Braxton says thank you kindly. He returns 22 yards to the Buffalo 28, led to a Jason Elam field goal and a 3-0 Denver lead. And then Terrell Davis. What a season he's having, and not a bad day either. Up the middle, 9 yards and a touchdown. He's over 100 yards rushing in the first half. Denver leads at this point by a score of 10-0, and for Terrell Davis, 21 carries, 123 yards and a touchdown. What problems for the Denver Broncos traveling all night?
Just maybe next time they're trying to keep up everybody the entire evening the way Terrell Davis is going. This is absolutely unbelievable. 123 yards. And this isn't some Pop Warner defense out there. Here's the team in the Buffalo Bills with Bruce Smith and Spielman and Pop and those guys. This is one of the top defenses in football, and he simply is running right through them. All
right, in Philadelphia, the Dallas Cowboys hold a 9-0 lead on the Philadelphia Eagles at halftime, but they have lost quarterback Troy Aikman to a strained neck. Possibility of a concussion. It would be yet another in a long line of them for Troy, and you have to wonder when things are going to break right for Dallas.
But you know, the good news is that Wade Wilson has come in off the bench here and has played very well. Really, the Dallas Cowboys should be blowing them out in this football game. The red zone problems continue for Dallas, but they are simply dominating this game to this point.
All right, Chris, in the Meadowlands, the New York Giants trail the Cincinnati Bengals 14-10. Jim Fossil's Giants riding a 4-game winning streak. 3-0 Giants. Bengals opening possession. Corey Dillon from a yard out puts the Bengals up 7-3. Second quarter now, after a pass interference call in the end zone, Charles Way of the Giants from 1 yard out. And the Giants are up 10-7. And then the ensuing kickoff, Eric Bieniemy, 2 yards deep in the end zone, finds a hole, breaks through. Brad DeLuiso is the only guy between him and the goal line. No problem. 102 yards and a touchdown. That's a Bengals team record. And Cincinnati on top by a score of 14-10. Sam, the Bengals looking better today.
Well, it was about time, and had Bieniemy been tackled with that effort, he really had a lot of conversation next week. You knew this was going to happen, though. This is mid-season. It's a pride check time. The Bengals are coming through for this. But this may be the most important halftime talk that Jim Fassel's given all year.
All right, Sam, in Washington, Jack Kent Cooke Stadium, the Bengals and the Redskins and the Ravens lead it by a touchdown. That's Coach Ted Marchibroda of Baltimore calling on the team to get tougher after 3 straight losses. Vinny Testaverde gets the offense going for the opening drive. Derek Alexander, 13 yards and a touchdown and a 7-0 Raven lead. Redskins answer right back. Gus Frerotte pumps again, finds Leslie Shepard, 15 yards, tie game at 7. Second quarter, Bam Morris caps a 22-play drive with a 4-yard touchdown run. Baltimore regains the lead. Bam Morris over 100 yards rushing in the first half, and the Ravens lead it by a touchdown. In New Orleans, the 6-1 49ers lead the 2-6 Rams 13-0. And in St. Louis, Kansas City on top of the Rams by a 17-7 count. Marty Schottenheimer's Chiefs looking for franchise win number 300. 3-0 Kansas City in the first. Tony Banks, 13 yards to Isaac Bruce. That puts the Rams up 7-3. 7-6 St. Louis in the second. Elvis Gerbach to Lake Dawson in the end zone. 21-yard touchdown catch. And the Chiefs, after the 2-point conversion, 14-7. A Stoyanovich field goal has them on top of the perhaps troublesome, with Isaac Bruce looking very good today, St. Louis Rams.
He is, but you know, there's a lake effect with Carnell Lake there in Buffalo today, the Pittsburgh's defensive back. And, of course, Lake Dawson is making the big catches for Kansas City. Kansas City may be the quietest 6-2 football team out there this year. On the other side, the Rams, they constantly make the little mistakes. Tony Banks is saying, hey, I can't hear. Suddenly there's a delay of game, 5-yard penalty. They got to cut that out.
All right, Sam. One other note for you from the world of football. Rankin Smith, the 72-year-old owner of the Atlanta Falcons, died today of heart failure in Atlanta. Our condolences go out to his family. When we come back, a report on Game 7 of the World Series will take you down to Miami right after these words from your local station.
Delivering a million smiles a day.
Greg Gumbel back in our New York studio. We called last weekend Must-See Weekend. Today is Must-See Sunday. Second half of our NFL doubleheader features the big AFC Central matchup in Pittsburgh between the Steelers and the Jacksonville Jaguars. And following football at 7 o'clock Eastern Time, two of the most magical words in sports. Game 7. The World Series comes to a fitting climax in Miami. The Florida Marlins and the Cleveland Indians. With a report, Hannah Storm, Keith Olbermann, and Barry Larkin.
Thanks, Greg. The stadium sits empty now, but in a little more than 5 hours, this will be the center of the sports world. And more than 67,000 fans will be here for what is considered the greatest game in sports, Game 7. We're joined by Reds All-Star shortstop Barry Larkin. His thoughts on tonight's game in just a few moments. But first, Keith, Mike Hargrove making a big decision for today's game.
And another second-generation major leaguer in the spotlight. Hargrove made a bold decision to start his 21-year-old rookie Jarrett Wright in Cleveland's biggest game in nearly 50 years. And moments after Wright learned he was officially starting, we talked about his improbable season. The season opened with you doing what on opening day?
I was pitching for the Akron Arrows in Double-A, and you know, it was opening night there. It was just, you know, I was happy at the time. And
the season ends with you
tomorrow throwing Game 7 of the series, and it's been a long road. It's been fun. I'm having a great time. You know, just one more time.
It's been a long road. You got a long way, but it happened kind of fast, didn't it? In 1 year to go from pitching the Double-A opener in the Eastern League to pitching the 7th game of the World Series?
Yeah, that's a long road to me. We had a lot of bus rides and you know.
Hey, I've been to the Eastern League. I know.
A lot of different apartments moving around, and you know, hopefully I can settle in here and settle in tomorrow.
His manager Mike Hargrove says Jarrett Wright is not cocky. He has the blissful ignorance of youth.
Meanwhile, on the other side, the Marlins start Al Leiter, who had a rough outing previously in the World Series. Never know what to expect from this guy, Barry.
That's the thing about Al Leiter. He can come out and walk the ballpark, or he can go out and throw a shutout. I think the thing to look for is that if he is ineffective early, he'll get the quick hook.
Perhaps we could see their rookie, Livan Hernandez, early in this game. Okay, who do you like?
Well, you know, I got to play both these guys next year. You know, we got to face Indians in interleague play, and, you know, we got to come down here. So I'm going to ride the fence on this one.
All right, you're not going to pick either one. Okay, well, we will find out soon enough. Our pregame coverage starts at 7 o'clock Eastern. Now let's get it back to Greg Gumbel in New York.
Well, the Cleveland Indians have waited 49 years to win a World Series, and they're handing the ball to 21-year-old Jarrett Wright. It should be interesting. Our NFL and NBC halftime activities continue.